Hi, today we're going to show you how to make the world's best almond roca. So the ingredients we need today: 1 pound of butter, 1 chocolate bar, walnuts, 1 pound of blanched almonds, 2 cups of white sugar, and love. Alright, so to start, 1 pound of butter in a heavy bottomed stock pot or some sort of saucepan. You don't want something with a real thin bottom where the butter will burn. 1 pound of butter on medium to low heat. Making sure that the piece of tin foil that got stuck to the butter doesn't end up in your almond roca. Good reason to wash your hands first. The butter is...
milk.
Alright, so while the butter is melting, we need to chop the chocolate bar up, just like Megan, who didn't want her name used in the video, and this is the second take because I used her last name the first time, is doing right now. Over there we've got Lexi, who is still stirring the butter. And once that melts, we'll get on to the next scene. Alright, so now the butter's melted, we're going to add 2 cups of white sugar. Stir that in until it's fully blended. There's a lot of stirring that takes place in making almond roca, so sometimes you need to spell off. Alright, so while Lexi continues to stir, see it's getting nicely blended, I will go get the pound of blanched almonds to add. 1 pound blanched almonds. Actually weighed it at the store because I couldn't figure out where our scale was. Over here into the butter. You see, I'll take over stirring from Lexi, and she'll go chop the walnuts that we need as well.
So while Michael is over there stirring in the almonds and butter, I will take some walnuts and dice them. You can use a slap chop or a knife. I like the slap chop because it's faster, and just... Okay, there you go.
Alright, now get a shot of what this is starting to look like. It's now looks kind of like a vanilla cake batter in there, but we keep stirring and stirring and stirring. It takes usually between 10 and maybe 18 minutes, depending on how hot your stovetop is. An older electric range, maybe 20 minutes. We're cooking on a gas range, so it's usually 10 to 12 minutes. You can see it's bubbling away. We just keep stirring and stirring and stirring. If you stop, it'll burn on the bottom, and eventually it's going to brown up. And as you're stirring it too, you can feel, right now I can still feel grains of sugar. So you want that to break down and it to become a very even toffee consistency. So we'll break while we just stir, so you don't have to watch us do this the whole time. And go and we'll grease a cookie sheet for this to ultimately be poured out on. One of the things to have ready is that greased cookie sheet, and it's going to be very hot when you pour it onto the cookie sheet, so you should have some sort of hot pad, trivet, or folded up tea towel or something underneath the cookie sheet so it doesn't burn your counter.
So right now I'm going to evenly distribute half of the crushed and diced walnuts onto the greased baking sheet, and we have the folded up tea towel underneath, just so that our counter does not get burnt.
How's it cold?
Alright, so it's been about another 3 minutes from when we last looked at the batter. You'll see it's starting to get tan color. It's still got quite a ways to go, but this is about the second of 4 stages this toffee sugary mixture is going to go through. One thing I didn't mention last time, and you'll hear it eventually and as we work ahead, is that the almonds will start to pop as it gets near being ready. Alright, so see, now we're continuing to darken, and I'll try and be quiet so you can hear the almonds as they start to pop. Okay, it's smoothing out, still not quite dark enough. Gotta keep stirring it now. If you stop stirring, it'll be bubbling, and you'll hear the almonds, and you might even start to get a bit of a smoky aroma. Okay. It's probably where you're supposed to have some sort of pithy Christmas joke. What do all the female deers do over Christmas while Santa's male reindeers are pulling the sleigh? Anyone know? Go into town and blow a few bucks.
Oh my God! Dad! That can't be in the video!
Oh, okay, so they're starting to really pop.
Okay, you can stop.
Okay, take a look at it now. See, the color has darkened up like toffee. Keep stirring, and now head over to where our cookie sheet is and pour all this out. By now the pot is really hot, so be careful. I'm using 2 oven mitts. It's a bit awkward, but so be it. Spread this out so it doesn't overflow the cookie sheet. And then we turn it over to Megan to get the chocolate on and the rest of the walnuts. Lexi, you can do that before it gets cool.
So now I am starting to sprinkle my walnuts apparently on my counter and floor, as well as the almond roca. Just distributing it nice and evenly all across the whole surface of the almond roca. Getting it everywhere. Trying to fill every crack and crevice that I can find. And now that we filled that quite enough, we're gonna add the chocolate. And as you can see here, Megan is evenly sprinkling the chocolate, which will melt down and be nice and gooey and chocolatey for your taste buds to have a little party when you take a bite. As you see here, she's getting it everywhere, just like I was with the walnuts. Okay. Just a little tip we have. If you have very clammy and warm hands, you might want to put some cold water on them and then dry them off, because if you're touching them with your warm, clammy hands, it will melt the chocolate and it will make a mess all over your clean hands.
Okay, so then you got to let the almond roca cool down completely. Depends if you want to stick it in the fridge or out on the back porch. It might take 20 minutes or so. If you leave it at room temperature, it's going to take an hour or so. And then this is one we made earlier, put in the fridge so it's ready to go. And you got to break it apart into whatever size pieces you want to give away for friends and family at Christmas. And so that's what we're going to do. Let's give it a good smack. It'll start to break. And then I like to use just if the pieces haven't broken up enough, just the flat end of a cleaver, so it's nice and heavy. And it just will snap up into bite-sized pieces, like that. And then put them in a fancy nice container. Pause. All right, so now that we've got it all done up, put in a nice container, then what you have to do is try it, make sure it tastes good. How is it?
Nice and crunchy.
Is it the world's best almond roca?
For sure.
Excellent.
For sure. Thanks for visiting Shirley Cooking.